Hi everybody, Candace here with Create It Studio. Today I'm going to teach you how to make the towel bar dress towel topper. This is a design that we sell a paper printed pattern for and directions at our storefront, createitstudio.com, or you can download that. I'm going to be showing how to do this design assembly today. I went ahead and I had a Go die made for this process, so I'll be demonstrating me cutting it out on the Go die cutter. But when you have the template that comes in your downloadable printable pattern, you'll be following the exact same method, just cutting it manually. So we're going to go ahead and go step by step. I'm going to show you how we take just a towel that you purchase at the store and attach it to the dress towel topper portion. And then I'll be demonstrating how you finish it off. These cute little dress toppers hang on the towel bar in your bathroom, in your kitchen, and also can be hung on the towel bar within your dishwasher or your stove. They are absolutely adorable, and you can do one for every single month of the year. Maybe you do them for the holiday like I did with this one, but they are absolutely adorable, and I'm going to take you through the steps on how to do that. All right, it's time for me to go ahead and cut out the dress topper top. And I'm going to go ahead and use my AccuQuilt die that I had made for my dress topper. I'm going to have my fold of my two pieces of fabric to the top and the label facing me. I'm going to go ahead and put my Go die cutter topper on it, and I'm just going to go ahead and feed it through. I'm going to go ahead and rub out some of that static electricity, and I'm going to take off the extra pieces that I don't need. And I have a beautifully done towel topper top that I'm going to take over to the sewing machine. When I designed this dress topper cutout, I went ahead and put in the little nicks that need to go around the neck and the curves to allow it to lay flat when I assemble it in the sewing machine. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it over to my sewing machine and start to stitch it after I press on the label that I want to put on it for my decorative detail. Alright, it's time to sew it together. I'm just going to be using a 1/4 inch seam allowance to come all the way around the sides, and then I'm going to repeat on this side. And I stop with my needle down so I can start to make that curve. And then I'm going to come straight down. And then I'm going to start to turn. And then I'm going to come straight down the rest of mine. That side is done. We went ahead and sewed all the way around, and now we're going to repeat on the other side. And needle down. Now we're going to make the curve. One more. And then we're going to come straight down. And now we're going to make that curve again. And then we're going to come straight down. Now I'm done, and I'm able to flip it inside out. So I'm simply just going to come through and flip it so I have right sides, and then I'm going to press it. Alright, it's time to go ahead and iron it. So I flipped it so it's out. We're going to be ironing our sides so they're nice and perfect. Since I went ahead and did a design on it, I want to make sure I don't hit that design, so I'm just going to come through and just iron it nice and flat. Don't worry about top stitching it yet. We're going to top stitch it at the end, so all I'm doing is just ironing those edges flat. The next thing we want to do is we want to either tuck these little pieces in and have a finished edge, or we want to go ahead and just pull them to the back side and zigzag stitch, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go around and I'm just going to pull these to the back side and repeat it all the way around and get it so it's nice and finished where these are pressed to the back, and then I can go through and do a top stitch. If you struggle with doing the neckline with a large iron, you can also go to a smaller applique iron, which works just as fine. All we're doing is pressing in that neckline so it's nice and round all the way around. Then we're going to go through and we're going to just do a real nice top stitch to hold it in place, and then you can flip it over and then do a nice little zigzag with your decorative stitch. Since I'm using my industrial sewing machine, it only has a straight stitch, so I'll be demonstrating with just a straight stitch today. So what I'm doing is I'm just going very close around the edge just to tack down that raw edge, and just keeping that same circle motion as I go around. My machine is set to a slow speed so I don't overrun where I'm working. And then once I get back to where I started, I can take it out. And then with a decorative stitch, I can go right around and decorative stitch down that edge, so then you wouldn't even see that little tack down. Since my machine only does a straight stitch, I'm just going to continue on and do a little bit of echo circling around to make it look like a nice intentional neckline. I could also use some rickrack to go around. Once we're done with that, then we got a good portion of our dress topper done, and then we're able to go ahead and put our towel in, and then we'll go with our top stitching on the sides as the last piece. So more to come. I'm going to go ahead and get the neckline done, and then I'm going to come back on camera and show you how we attach the towel to this portion of the dress topper. Alright, I went ahead and stitched around, so that's all nice and finished. If you had a decorative stitch, you would make it look a lot prettier. I went ahead and tucked in about 3/4 of an inch each of my edges and pressed. This is because we're going to be sticking the towel up in this area, and we want to make it nice and finished before we get started. A really good length for your towel is going to be pretty much exactly where they have it folded. So you want to just start with your towel, fold it in half, and then right where this fold is, you're going to go ahead and just cut it. And so I just take my scissors and I just cut straight across, just like that. Once it's cut in half, we're going to work on both sides of our dress topper. You can, if you like that pencil look, you know, where it's nice and flat and not ruffled, you could just simply stuff this up into the towel at this point. And I like to do that for the back side, so one side's ruffled and one side is not ruffled. And all you would do is you would get your towel stuffed in there, and then you would go ahead and run your 2 stitch lines straight across. So you can see why we're not doing our sides yet. We need to get that towel inside. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how we're going to ruffle the skirt. So when you're looking at this, we need to be able to get your ruffles to fit within this section. So I open it all the way up. And the first thing I do is I take this and I fold this corner in, kind of like an angle, just so it gives that nice little flare out. And then I just start about 1 inch away from each other with the 1-inch pleat, and I just come through and I start to look at it, and then I pin it, or you can use your clips. Whoops, that clip exploded. So I just go through and I start to clip these together, and I know where my middle is because I can see it right here, And so to get to the middle, I know this one's going to be a little bit smaller of a pleat. And then I just go through and repeat it on the other side. And I take this one at an angle, and then I just start making my pleats as I come across. And then this should be able to fit in an end of this. And so if my pleats are too tight, then I just back them off so I can get the right distance to go in here. And remember, you're going to be pulling this up about an inch, so I can go ahead and release out a little bit of this side and that side and that side. So that's going to be halfway, and then now I'm just going to repeat with this side and then pin it in. I'm going to sew it straight across and then put it inside and then sew. Let me go ahead and get this pinned. So we got those pleats, we got that pleat, and now we're going to put it in our machine and we're going to start to sew it. Alright, so now we have the pleats that are going to be on this dress, and now we're going to go through and put it up into the dress. That looks really nice, and now I'm going to go ahead and top stitch to hold it in place. Alright, so that first stitch is done. Trim off some of my strings so I can show you. So when it's hanging on the bar, it's going to look nice and pretty. And then now we're going to go ahead and repeat with the back side. Alright, the front side's done, and now we're going to the back side. And all I'm doing is putting in the towel just as I had it. I'm making sure that all of the towel is going to be caught right through the stitch line. Alright, so the towel is now attached, and now I'm going to go back through one more time. That way, if anybody is really rough with the towel, it's definitely not going to come out of the stitching. Alright, so each of the sides has 2 rows of stitching, and that's just to hold it in nice and perfect. Now we're able to go through and do the top stitching all the way around on our dress topper. So you're going to be stitching right here along the edge just to give it a nice finished look, and you're going to repeat on this other side. Now what I'm doing is top stitching as I discussed. I make sure my needle is down because I find that to be the easiest way to work my way around the product. And I like being right up on the edge. Makes it nice and pretty. And you'll want to make sure you top stitch, because when it goes through the washer, It holds it nicely in place when it's going through the dryer and it doesn't get all distorted. Alright, so you can see that nice finished top stitch right through there. And then all we're going to do is come around to the other side and do the exact same thing. I go with my needle down so I can start to make that turn. And then on the straightaways, you can go a little bit faster. Once you start coming up to that turn, that's when you really want to slow your machine down to make the turns. Alright, so I got both sides done, and then now I have a really nice looking dress topper that's going to go on the towel bar. So this one says Panama Canal, since I'm going to be giving it to the chef who's going to be cooking my yummy food, my yummy desserts. You can go ahead and finish it up with little snaps, which I'm going to do. That just holds it on that towel bar really nicely. I like to put snaps on mine, and that means we have to put holes in it in order to get these snaps to fit through. I put my cutting base in, and I have a hole cutter right here that I use. I go ahead and I put that into my machine. And then I simply just look at how I want it to snap together. I put my dress topper right in there. Give it a nice little push and you'll see it just made a hole all the way through. I hold again, come right between the lines because I have my top stitch and my bottom stitch, and I cut another hole. So you can see those holes and they go all the way through to the back. This allows me to get a great placement when I'm doing my snaps. So now I'm going to work on my pretty front snaps. So I just take my die out and I'm getting ready to do the top, so I need to make sure I get the right die for the top. I place that die in my press, lining it up. And then I go to my jar where I have my snap tops. And I just pour a couple in there. And I come back and get some more. And I'm going to be working with my Made in Acme snaps because I am in Acme and I made those here. Since I know my holes are going to line up perfectly because I cut both layers at the same time, I simply just come through, press that down, and now I have my snap put on. So then I go and I repeat it with the other side. I grab one of my Made in Acme snaps, I put it on, face down in its little holder. I put its piece on it, and then I press, and now I have both of my snaps for the front. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the receding snaps on the back. So I'm going to change my dies out. So we've used those two, we've used those two, and that just leaves these two. I'm going to go ahead and put them back in my press. All right. Now we're going to work with these pieces right here. I'm going to open up my snap container I'm going to pull a couple out. I actually only need 2 of each, but I'm just going to go ahead and pour them in here. If you were making a whole bunch of these in kind of a production line, this is the way you would do it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these in. There's a little prong that holds it right here at the bottom. And then this little nipple part goes in the top, just like so. Now I need that nipple part to be able to be receiving the top snap, so I'm going to go just like this. And then now these two snap together, and it would snap around the towel bar. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that with this side. So I'm going to put the little nipple piece right up here, and then I'm going to put the prong piece. My product is facing down, so I have the right orientation. I now have it able to be snapped, snap, and now this is able to be hung on the towel bar for it to be displayed. All right, and our dress towel topper is complete and it's hanging on the towel bar. You can make them in all different themes, like the Christmas one. You can make all kinds of holiday ones. You can make birthday ones. The possibilities are endless. Thank you for watching the Create It Studio video, and have a great day.